Well, we have to look at the newspapers. I have Mamavi here. Mamavi, looks like today you and I were dressed pepe. Blue, navy blue.
Are you? Okay, I'm not going to go there. Yeah. But good morning to you. Well, thank you for joining us.
Have you also been taking Herbalife like Gov't? Very trim.
Which one is that?
Okay, so what do you have?
Are you revealing Gov't's secrets on the show? Or she shared it?
I think so.
I don't want to be a contributor to that.
I should remember that.
Gov't is one of my best friends, so
Gov't,
I want to keep it that way.
Gov't and Rapia, good morning to you.
Okay, so we're just going to jump into the newspapers, but we'll start this way. Management of Ghana Water has scheduled a shutdown of the Wager headworks for repairs on a raw water pipeline starting today, Tuesday. How is this going to affect you, who relies on Wager to supply you with water? We've got the head of communications for the company joining us, Mr. Stanley Mate. Good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Morning, Mama. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking. So we just wanted to briefly understand how this is going to affect water supply and to which areas.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, it's going to affect the western part of Accra, areas that are being served by the Wager plant. So, for instance, Malam, Bawe, McCarthy Hill areas, Dansoman, Mampobi, Agege, Kolebu, Kolegono, Mataheko, North Kanishin, Tesano, La Paz, Achimota, and all those areas will be affected. Soweto and all those areas will be affected. Now, the raw water line is a huge pipeline that abstracts water from the river, the Denso River, into the treatment plant for treatment. Now, because of the leakage on that pipeline, we are losing a substantial volume of water that we abstract for treatment. So we are not getting the full capacity of the treatment plant. So we need to have repaired so that at least we can abstract more water for treatment for the people of the western part of Accra. So it's essential that we repair that line.
Okay, but so how long would it take?
24 hours. We are hopeful that by acquiring any technical hitch, we should be able to complete this job before 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mate, thank you very much for your time. That's Stanley Mate. He speaks for the Ghana Water Company. If you live in the areas that he mentioned, it means that you will not have water supply, but he says it's just for 24 hours. That's for them to repair and maintain some works, defective valves on the main transmission line. So that's the information we thought is really important. We wanted a bit of understanding. All right, let's jump into the newspapers. Roland, I'll do the Daily Graphic and the Times. You've added the Finder. What are you doing?
I'm doing the Enquirer, the Statesman, the Daily Dispatch, and I'll start with the Daily Guide.
You will start with the Daily Guide?
That is after you.
Okay, all right. So let's begin with the Finder. I'll go the Finder way this morning.
I didn't tell you. You know Sally for Combat? It's been a while I mentioned his name. He's one of the frontline workers. He's head of primary healthcare pharmacy.
We know that.
Okay. I don't think the audience know that. At the Boku Presbyterian Hospital, good morning to you for doing good work during this time of COVID.
You didn't talk about his wife?
The wife has been supporting him at home, but also works with the Ghana Immigration Service station at the Mesiga border. Thank you for encouraging me to give shout out to frontline health workers.
Let's do the Finder newspaper front page. Here we go. 75% completes $1.1 million net funding gap, requires urgent donation. And we're talking about the 100-bed infectious diseases isolation facility. There's a challenge that Senor Hossi has thrown out there, and I thought, I'll pick up the challenge. So let's see what we do with it this morning. It's just a 10 Ghana cedis challenge, so you can contribute to the completion of this very important facility, the 100-bed infectious diseases isolation facility, 75% complete. That's
so they have a short code?
Yeah, they've got that. So we will share all the details later this morning. Check how much you have, because you are not doing 10 Ghana cedis.
No, I'm not doing 10.
Ah, okay.
I intend doing above more than 100. Yeah.
All right, back on the front page. Let us hear it.
But it's private sector. Private sector.
This is the private. Okay, Amayanka, what?
Oh, I mean, you say,
but the state is part of it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
I thought it was private.
Let us unite for victory in upcoming elections. That's a call from President Akufo-Addo Roland. SHS in Accra welcomes students with COVID-19 orientation. Also, ADB partners Gov't to reduce risk in agric. Front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper, COVID-19 safety measures, free SHS enforce protocols. Also, restructure public basic school system. A call from Professor Stephen Adai, chairman of the NDPC, explaining the point to editor of the Daily Graphic, Kobe Asma, during a meeting. Also, government has no hand in demolition property, according to Foreign Minister, and this has to do with the property belonging to the Nigerian High Commission, we're told, until investigations reveal all the details in that. So we wait to see. There's an angle from the Nigerian High Commission. There's also the Osu Traditional Council on the other side. It is only thorough investigation that can open up the issue. So we'll leave it here until we get what the investigations reveal. In the center spread, high attrition rates of MPs needs interrogation. CDD Ghana making the point. Dr. Kojo Asante speaking to the Daily Graphic on this.
Dr. Kojo Asante, you have to put Shraj on this one.
Oh, Charlie, but disaster.
Yeah, it's a total disaster.
When you sit and reflect a bit, especially when you look at all the names together. Community mining
it's like, you know, you having a human being and you taking the soul or the hearts out of the body, you know.
But listen, it won't be such a big blow to Parliament this year, okay? Because after the primaries, we've got election coming up in December. A lot of people will be concentrating on. Yeah,
we do know that. But what happens is that many of these people tend to relax. They don't, you know, the enthusiasm and.
But that's the feeling. That's the feeling. I don't see, for instance, Mr. Ben Abdallah relaxing and not committed to doing his work and finishing. I mean, there are some. There are some. Because his party could win or may not win the next election. So if his party wins and he's dedicated, the president thinks that he's still dedicated. It may give him a ministerial appointment. I only mentioned Mr. Ben Abdallah.
No, I mentioned Makasibeyabwa because you went to his enemy to go, and we have that interaction there.
Okay, listen, Roland, we're reviewing the newspaper, so let me go back to the center spread, okay, of the Daily Graphic. Stranded Ghanaian Germans evacuated to Germany. A total of 178 Ghanaian Germans who were stranded due to COVID-19 restrictions were yesterday airlifted to Germany through a joint effort by the Ghanaian community in Germany, the governments of Ghana and the German government. Community mining scheme launched at Tinga is also another story in the center spread of the paper. But this one about Parliament and the MPs going out. And Dr. Kojo Asante, who's the Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the Center for Democratic Development, says he's called for a critical analysis of the high attrition rates of members of Parliament. He explained that such an analysis should be able to point to the main drivers of the rates and explain why other MPs stayed longer without the so-called protection by the political parties. So details of that in the center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper. A very important work he's asking for us to do in terms of the analysis. Back page, as Sanko donates hygiene products to schools in Amansia West and South, reviewed COVID-19 discharge protocols in right direction. That's according to the director of the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, Professor Abraham Kwabena Annan, who says that the reviewed discharge protocols on the coronavirus did not present any cause for alarm.
Oh, that's good. As you prepare to do the next newspaper, Salifu Combat says that you are very gender sensitive. But don't worry, he'll be in town on Thursday. We're going to the Marriott Hotel to have breakfast. Salifu Combat, you're too much. Please,
did he say that in the text?
Yeah.
Until I read exactly what he sent to you, I am believing anything that you just said. The Ghanaian Times newspaper, even the message, you can plant it, Roland. The front page of the Ghanaian Times, former President Mahama to unveil policies ahead of manifesto launch. On GES, parents must assist children to observe COVID-19 safety protocols. Well, they're in school already, so hopefully that has thoroughly been done. I've had some parents who said they've armed their children, they've told them exactly what to do, and they trust that they will stay safe. 4,500 Accra basic schools undergo disinfection by Zoom Lion. Here's one on the demolition of buildings situated at the Nigerian High Commission. Osu Stool claims land, but foreign minister apologizes to Nigerian High Commission. On the back page, AMA laid to rest COVID-19 dead bodies at Awudome Cemetery. Work begins on newborn units for Tamale West Hospital. That's how it looks like by way of what's on the front back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Roland will start or continue with the Daily Guide newspaper.
The Daily Guide has on the front page, Mahama responds to government official one tag, has on a third picture of former President John Dramani Mahama, flag bearer of the opposition NDC CEO, 50 million Ghana cedi deal rejected, has an attached picture of Daniel Duku, formerly CEO of the venture capital, currently before the law courts. 4,500 Greater Accra schools disinfected. And Yariga trial witness missing. Yesterday, the story was making the rounds that apparently a special prosecutor can't find a witness in this Yariga case. We just have Kable was on the show today, but how you give us further and better particulars on the subject. You know, we don't.
Why is he the special prosecutor?
No, he's a lead court correspondent. On the back page, we have a picture of Jordan Ayew. He scored a goal when the EPL resume was played over the weekend. Jordan delighted over EPL record, and it's because he's been doing so well. The Ghana International was on target as Crystal Palace defeated Bournemouth 2-0 at the Vitality Park in their first game since the resumption of the English Top Flight League, the EPL. We also do have Bedu gets coach salutes the one against Cagliari in Italy. And down there we have Zidane mad at referees discussion. And Ronaldo not as sharp as before. That's coach Maurizio Sarri, who also hasn't been as sharp as he was. So I'm wondering who is sharper. Allah. Yeah. Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Okay. We have on the front page of the Daily Dispatch the MPP primaries and 2020 election. I tell you, I've read the story. Please read it. It's just part one of Uncle Ben's feature. Story also focusing on the MPP primaries and what the implications could be. You know, before this election, he was warning that ultimately, he's not saying there'll be a loss or a win, but some of these considerations or under considerations of voting out MPs, etc., could lead to some loss of 400,000 votes. And this is, again, re-emphasized here in the speech. It's on page 2 of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Please get a grip on this. ICAMS, that's Unipass, into bracket, generated 490 million Ghana cedis in 17 days. The GRA boss has been trumpeting this over the last 6 days. It's found its way into the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Down there, the 7th Parliament and the fall of 40 MP. Sounds like some Ghanaian movie title, but it's real. It happened this Saturday. That's when the filming took place. It was premiered live on JoyNews. Live.
Really?
Yeah, on election headquarters.
Okay.
The theater. Live. Can I do one more? Before you...
I don't have any more papers.
Okay. No, you have.
Are you okay?
Okay. So we have the Enquirer. Mahama promises Don't Akufo-Addo. As NDC unveils Sam. Then we have battle over kickback. Dr. Archibald fires aid. No parliamentary candidate in your constituency. And it says, that's what the Daily, the National Enquirer has captioned on its front page. The Daily Statesman says, defeat of experienced MPs is a setback, says majority leader. Even he agrees. He could have been a casualty if somebody had contested him. But he's lucky he went unopposed. That's a good thing. I don't know why they didn't do it to some of the other MPs. Join hands for decisive victory. President Akufo-Addo charges MPP faithful. There was a formal statement congratulating the winners, but also saying that the losers should come on board. That statement was issued before the close of the news day on Monday. Government also provides 1,190 vehicles for free SHS program. That's a good thing. And the Electoral Commission is asking you to know all the needed information before you go and queue for a new voters register. Compilation of the 2020 voters register. Mama, this is what you need to know. I see that you've not been knowledgeable in this, so I'll keep you. You need to be above 18. I see that you're already above. You haven't registered before, so I'm telling viewers so that they note. As you're a citizen of Ghana, Mama, as far as I know, you're of sound mind. I think oftentimes
who are you to determine that?
You're a resident or ordinarily resident in an electoral area. Yes, you live in Kutu, near Eastern Region. Not be prohibited from registering by any law so far. Any of the following documents can be presented by applicants at the registration center to prove his or eligibility. Passport. You travel to South Africa, Singapore, so you have a passport.
Okay,
national ID, I'm not too sure, Mama, but we'll excuse you because you have a passport. In the event where an applicant does not have the required, so in the event where Mamavi does not have the required documents, she must be accompanied by 2 guarantors who must have registered a voter under the current. I don't have. So myself, I have a passport. My lead producer, Derek Sam, has a passport. We'll register first, and then we'll take Mamavi along to go and guarantee for her at Kuntunse. It's near the eastern region of Ghana.
No, stop misrepresenting that. I told you that I live in both regions.
I'm not surprised. You're even confused. You know, there's one of the criteria, be of sound mind. You are the only Ghanaian who lives in 2 regions. Do you know that there's a great contest between Ghanaians who are living in Togo and Ghana?
How is that?
So you living in Eastern region and you could be debarred from registering. Mamavi. I don't know what viewers think about it. Look, this is quite fascinating, but it's a serious program. And to ensure the safety and security of its stakeholders, the Electoral Commission is assuring Mamavi to observe the following safety protocols in line with government.
Let's do myJoyNews.com.
Time is not up. Don't rush.
Let's do myJoyNews.
Don't rush. Mauli, our leader, he said we have 3 more minutes. What do you want to take a look at?
I don't know. You just confused me.
I didn't.
You just, you know.
Sure, okay. Eastern region residents, that's for, these are how they behave.
There are some stories on myJoyNews.com.
Oh, but personally, I would want to ask you, we have a great interaction you had with Michael Befi, that's his name?
Yes.
And
Kofi Befi, that's how they
I hadn't really heard him speak before, and look, he sounded like he's up for the job. I
think that the thing that I didn't know before the interview, he had actually done a lot of constituency work. So he used to be first vice chair at some point, even when Marcus Ibeyewa was still MP in Parliament.
In the party?
Yes.
In the constituency?
So he's done a lot of work in the constituency. He's known. He's known, you know, almost like everywhere. And then he also talks about, so for those of you who want to get into politics, because he was doing corporate work, he was an insurance person. So selling insurance, needed clients from across board because you didn't have to identify yourself as NDC or an MPP. And so he used Kofi Befi. So for a very long time, he was known as Kofi Befi in politics. And then in corporate, he was known as Michael.
I think I need to do that.
And people didn't think the two, was the same person. Even the president, when he was appointing him, because Kofi Befi is what in politics.
How do you law students say coterminous? So, or how do you?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go on. So we're having this interaction.
So he talks a lot about his personal life as well. His parents passed, but I asked what he would have done for his mother, because he talks fondly of her. And you will have to wait to listen to what he says on that.
I think you qualify under be of sound mind. Based on what you just said. You qualify.
So if you want to know, everybody that we talk to really say that the biggest shock was Dr. Sibeyabwa. So I'm sure you want to learn the man who knocked him off. So this conversation is right here on the AM show.
Mama, you're wonderful.
Let's do my joy.
I saw him going through his house. It looks like he's a self-made man.
He is, absolutely.
So you should have allowed me to accompany you for this interaction.
To go with us. Yeah. What would you have done? Stayed in his house and eat.
You're very wicked.
Let's do myjoyonline.com. Now, this is also turning out to be a story, a very familiar story at Komfo Anoche. This one says, work on 44-bed capacity Kolibu COVID-19 treatment center stalls over lack of funds. According to JoyNews sources, the contractors have run out of funds and have been waiting for funds in order to return to site. The situation has left the hospital with no option but to operate a makeshift facility located at its fever units. But that can only take 8 patients, with a seeming rise in asymptomatic cases and dwindling spaces in other facilities in the capital. That unit also come under pressure with all the units' available beds currently taking up. So that's the situation with the facility that Kolibu is putting up in the fight against COVID-19. Here's another story. Venture capital scandal. Court rejects Duku's repayment plan for the second time. So the push by former chief executive of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, Daniel Duku, to escape possible jail term by refunding 15 million Ghana cedis to the state has been rejected once again. Justice Antonio Pong said the court is not impressed with the plan to refund the money to the state by paying in bits. If you want to read more, just click on the story on myjoyonline.com. Here's another court story. This time, GN license case. Court of Appeal orders Bank of Ghana to justify revocation at High Court. And again, on this one, the Court of Appeal Monday threw out an application from the Bank of Ghana which challenged the jurisdiction of the High Court to hear the case. Bank of Ghana had argued that the High Court has no jurisdiction to hear the complaint, which is challenging the revocation of GN Savings license. It argued that the only lawful forum for resolving the GN Savings concerns is the Ghana Arbitration Center. The High Court dismissed its application in December 2019. I want to fast forward and talk about Justice Remsai, who's lawyer for GN Savings. He says legal, and this is to the Bank of Ghana, legal gymnastics all are aimed at stalling the case and thereby perverting the cause of justice. So Bank of Ghana, get back to the real issues and stop doing the wayside. It ain't working, so deal with the real matter. Basically that. COVID-19 patients afraid to have isolation, to leave isolation centers over possible stigma. Of course, our colleague, Gary Al Smith, has been telling us a lot of the inside stories. Yesterday, I bounced this off the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, who even says that, listen, to all of you who are stigmatizing, if a person recovers from COVID-19, they're even better off than you. You haven't had it at all. They are better than you, like in many ways. That if you have it, it means you are immune recovered, yes. You're immune from getting reinfected. So your system, you haven't tested your system. Somebody has tested and recovered, and you're there stigmatizing the person. Go ahead. If it happens to you, we'll see if you will survive it. Well, we have to do... defeated MP denies... You have to do what? Sports. Oh, but read that one. It's very important. A bit of this story. So, This member of parliament for Echima Kwawoma in the just ended Anamamboni. Okay. Dr. Kojo Apiakubi, he's denied reports that he's demanding from delegates some money and goodies shared. There were reports that the incumbent legislature and its supporters are chasing after delegates to collect some monies and items allegedly distributed to them for votes after they voted against him, but the MP denied it. And he says, quote, "I haven't asked anybody to go after delegates to retrieve my money." So if somebody comes in the name, says, when the time is due for retrieval of such goodies, I will officially state my position on the matter through a statement.
But Charlie, but it's serious. So it means the delegates averaging 400 to 750 collected monies from the city and be 40 of them and still didn't vote for them.
I am still investigating what accounted for my defeat in the just ended primaries. That's Dr. Afia.
Fear delegate.
No, Roland would love to be a delegate. Oh my God.
No, I don't want to be a delegate.
And he would say, I am a neutral. So that he can get
as the ordinary Ghanaian will say, it's a lie. It's a lie. But it's your birthday today. Dr. Francis Akum of the Boku Presbyterian Hospital. I'm told that you are worried that it's only Salif Kombat who is getting all the funds.